I am officially Mrs. Gold. I'm super excited. I am ready for this next chapter.
Jennifer Williams, the stylish boss lady from Basketball Wives, was well known to us. However, everything changed recently. What appeared to be a peaceful marriage abruptly descended into complete mayhem. Christian, her spouse, appeared everywhere all of a sudden and not in a positive way. He was being exposed for serious crimes, not for his achievements or romantic relationships. As it happens, Christian was operating companies that were founded on false information. The transactions he was engaging in were unlawful according to documents. According to those with knowledge of the situation, warnings were given, but for years nothing was done about it. This is the point at which reality sets in.
First of all, we're not going to make this about Christian.
Well, it kind of is. This actually came to me. Carl's cousin went and invested money and has been trying to get her money back. Tell your man to send her $1,500 back.
Christian, there was always some mystery surrounding Jennifer's husband. Christian remained in the background while Basketball Wives viewers were absorbed in the drama on screen, since he didn't pursue camera time. And to be honest, most people hardly knew what he looked like. He wasn't a part of the typical mess. Behind the scenes, that quiet exterior was concealing a completely different story, but to the public, he was just Jennifer's man. Christian was establishing businesses and navigating the business world in an effort to establish his own reputation. On paper, it appeared that he was attempting to pursue success on his own, separate from Jennifer's TV fame. He had several businesses, some of which were legitimate and some of which weren't. Additionally, Christian was allegedly involved in some dubious activities, while Jennifer was preoccupied with her brand partnerships and appearances on television shows. Long before this all came to light in public, there were already legal red flags building.
First of all, nothing I do is because of Evelyn. Let's make that very clear. Christian and I always were getting married in Vegas, and based off of what happened leading up to our marriage, we cannot do it when we wanted to do it. Like, why not do it now?
Some company documents didn't add up. There were rumors of fraudulent transactions. Although some of his loved ones were aware of the discrepancies, nobody really voiced their disapproval loud enough. Perhaps they believed it was not their place. Perhaps they expected him to tidy up, but he didn't. Additionally, fans were completely unaware of it. He was so unassuming that no one even considered taking a closer look. However, everything changed when the documents began to come to light.
My son's father, Carl's cousin Kiki, DM'd me to tell me that she had invested money with Christian and she wanted to let me know what was going on.
Christian's business activities were reportedly the subject of a thorough investigation. People were coming forward to report being conned. Together, they made investments with him in the hopes of receiving returns that never materialized. And those rumors weren't just rumors. After the paperwork was released, as soon as everything was posted online, accusations of money laundering, embezzlement, and fraud began to spread quickly. Christian was accused of fabricating business agreements to deceive investors by essentially guaranteeing large profits, then spending the funds on luxury goods, expensive cars, personal belongings, and even lifestyle expenses.
We are getting ready to board to fly to Vegas. I am very excited to be going to Vegas. Let's get this paperwork done. We're gonna do Vegas. It's gonna be a fun wedding. We're gonna make it official. We're gonna have a good time. See you soon. It's a good feeling.
Official complaints were being filed, so the accusations weren't just coming from arbitrary social media accounts. Jennifer fell silent as Christian's name began to trend. She didn't stand up for him, but she also didn't turn away. People began to pose difficult queries as a result of that silence. Did she know? Did she play a role, or did she get caught off guard like everyone else? Some believe she was in shock, while others believe she was shielding him. In any case, everything seemed more serious because of the silence. People were searching for hints in her post. Did she remove his pictures? Was she giving away anything? While everyone was clamoring for answers, Jennifer said nothing at all despite the wild theories. Furthermore, that silence was more powerful than words.
I'm like, girl, we don't have no secrets.
Right.
And why are you so invested and concerned? Because I'm actually not your friend. So, you know, I read her rights.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna let nobody talk bad about you. Like, never. When people are just so invested in other people, you are deflecting from some that's going on in your real life.
Miserable people try to bring happy people down to their level.
Yeah, and want to bring you misery.
They want company.
Yeah.
I'm not here to keep them company.
The trial followed, which was the part that no one anticipated would be made public so soon. Christian was officially accused. Prosecutors produced emails in which Christian detailed plans for transferring funds through fictitious businesses. Witness accounts, bank transfers, and screenshots were all present. This appeared to be a deliberate plan rather than merely a miscommunication. Even worse, it was evident from the evidence that Jennifer might not have known anything. When a former business partner testified that Christian purposefully kept Jennifer in the dark, it was one of the most significant moments during the trial. He didn't want her to inquire.
What's up, baby?
Hi. How you feeling?
I'm okay. Going ready to go knock this out, get it over with.
Christian was sentenced to 15 days jail time, but the judge ultimately allowed Christian to travel to Paris for our wedding. But he had to serve 2 days prior. Now we're back from Paris, and Christian has to serve another 13 days.
That witness claims that he lied to her in the same way that he lied to his investors. Everything changed when the verdict was rendered. Christian was found guilty following a full trial, months of silence, rumors, and leaked documents. The court didn't mince words. The judge made it apparent that this was more than a small error or a botched venture. Christian had intentionally set up a network of fraud, phony companies, phony transactions, embezzled funds, and secret bank accounts. It was strategic rather than careless. The court described it as harmful and intentional. Investors lost everything, lives were destroyed, and Christian showed no genuine regret. Christian received a severe sentence that included several years in prison. Sources claim that when the sentence was announced, the courtroom fell silent. However, Jennifer's absence was the most obvious event of the day. Without her saying a word, her absence gave the public all the information they required. She had obviously drawn a line. She wasn't there to support him or defend him. The fans went crazy over it, and some people thought it proved she was done, while others wondered how much this whole thing had broken her behind the scenes. Jennifer didn't say a word, but her absence said everything, someone commented. She has finished playing games. The way she vanished, erased all of his photos, and remained silent, that's a sign of a woman protecting her peace at another. However, Jennifer had to deal with life after betrayal, which was even more difficult than Christian's encounter with the judge. Jennifer virtually vanished from the public consciousness in the days and weeks that followed. No podcast appearances or interviews. Her social media accounts also became silent. Fans began criticizing everything after some old posts were removed and pictures of her and Christian disappeared. Every photo she shared without her ring, every mysterious caption, and every time she appeared worn out in a paparazzi photo, all of these things were incorporated into the story. People were looking for answers. Did she remain with him? Would she say something? Was there something she was concealing? Jennifer, however, did not give them anything. In addition to hurting, she was defending herself. Insiders claimed that she was devastated not only by the legal mess, but also by the fact that she was caught off guard. She experienced anger, embarrassment, and betrayal. She wasn't merely enduring the agony, though. She was making plans. Jennifer was speaking with attorneys behind closed doors. She was looking over her money. She wanted to know how to keep her businesses safe, what she could safeguard, and what might still be connected to Christian. Then something changed. Jennifer began to take charge of her story. She didn't take a tour of the media. She didn't reveal everything. She eschewed spectacle in favor of strategy. She concentrated on rebuilding. She began new business endeavors on her own terms, unrelated to Christian or Basketball Wives. In the meantime, serious discussions were taking place among Basketball Wives producers behind the scenes. Should they focus on the story for ratings or remove her from the show to avoid controversy? Some worried that the scandal would make the show seem too depressing, while others felt it was too big to ignore. Jennifer's response was unambiguous. She had to tell her story if they wanted it, just honesty. No manufactured drama, no distorting of the facts. Surprisingly, they concurred. She wasn't noisy when she came back to the show. She wasn't fighting with her co-stars. Fans noticed that she was quiet, genuine, and emotional. No filters, no additional makeup, and no fake enthusiasm. Real-time processing of betrayal by a woman. He talked candidly about her experiences. Though she didn't shield Christian, she also didn't put him in a bad light. She described feeling heartbroken, perplexed, and caught off guard. The honesty resonated with the audience. It was now about healing rather than glamour or rumors. Jennifer's life continued beyond the emotional harm caused by Christian's guilty verdict, which made headlines. The financial consequences materialized quickly. Even though Jennifer wasn't mentioned as being involved in Christian's business operations, her name appeared in the civil lawsuits that began to come in from investors who had lost everything, not as a criminal, but as someone who might have profited without realizing it. That was sufficient to subject her to legal pressure. Her assets included properties, vehicles, joint accounts, and even a portion of her business portfolio. Now, everything was being examined closely. When it came to keeping her business separate, Jennifer had always been wise. The majority of Christian's paperwork lacked her name. However, in circumstances such as these, a formal legal separation does not nullify the relationship. In practice, the court sought to determine whether any of Christian's pilfered funds had been used to purchase items that Jennifer owned or used. As a result, some of her business funds were paused and some of her accounts were frozen. She needed to discuss everything with her legal team, including what was hers, what was his, and what might now be in doubt. Jennifer was working behind the scenes, not only legal work, but also mental, emotional, and personal healing. She began attending therapy. She relied on a select group of individuals that she trusted. She took a step back from the spotlight and began to consider long-term strategies for surviving, preserving her tranquility, and ensuring that she would never find herself in a similar situation again. And then things started to shift. Jennifer stopped posting pictures of herself with soft lighting and opulent bags. She started talking about rebuilding, growth, and ownership. Her brand began to change gradually. She was evolving into a voice for women who had experienced financial ruin and betrayal, but still had to keep going after becoming more than just a fashionista or reality TV personality. Then, in silence, she began shutting doors that were no longer useful to her. People noticed the minor changes, even though she didn't post a statement or record a breakup video. For example, Christian's name vanished from her bio. The old couple's pictures disappeared. On social media, she unfollowed him. Just silence, no drama, no caption. And there was clarity in that quiet. However, Jennifer is still dealing with the fallout from the battle. A few of Christian's victims are still attempting to recoup their losses. Her name keeps appearing in civil lawsuits. She is still responding to inquiries and defending her rights. However, she is doing it in a discreet, astute manner without making a show out of it. The change is being noticed by fans. They are witnessing her transition from scandal to strategy and from heartbreak to healing. Although they refer to her as a survivor, she is more than that in reality. She is a fighter who used the spotlight, the mess, and the shame to create something new. Jennifer Williams didn't just survive, she rose despite being pulled into the chaos. I want to hear from you now. Do you guys believe Jennifer did the right thing in handling this? Did her silence speak for itself, or should she have spoken up sooner?